In this tragic story they keep bringing back up, there's still a lot people don't know because there's so many lies being told on the internet every single day. I don't know how these people just do it. They just wake up and make up shit and just keep going. Every time I wake up and look at the screen, there's another Tupac lie. There's just so many lies. Some being told by Suge Knight. Suge just can't help himself. So you know how, if he doing this now, how you think he was when he was running the company? This man will tell so many lies. This man, Snoop, knew about it. Yeah, because see, Dog now, they knew it was a hit. And Dog, they set it up. No, Snoop wanted Pac dead. Since what? Like, what was you doing through all this? If that was the case, what was you doing through all of it? If you know all this information, what was you doing through all of it? If Pac was your boy, he was a member of your MOB. These people be telling on themselves. Yeah, crazy style. Now, here's the deal. That guy in the middle is Jimmy Iovine, the boss. Tupac Shakur did not get out of jail because of Suge Knight's money. Suge orchestrated that he could get out of jail. Now, here's the thing, right? Pac didn't have a good relationship with Interscope. It was severed with the fields and everything once he went to jail. Back then, that was a detraction. So they just wrote him off, and Pac was disgusted that he had did all he did, and he basically had to pay off his lawyers and everything with Me Against the World. He owed all his legal fees for his court, everything, based on what he was doing on his previous records. Plus, he had his own, record company out the gutter. Better known as OTG. Where Thug Life album was on, he did a soundtrack. It was on Atlantic Records, East West Echo. That was out of Atlantic. So now, with that being in place, y'all finna know what's going on. For the first time, I probably had went and broke this whole thing down. They was, man, how did Eminem get those records? He messed up Tupac out. Yeah, he did. But we gonna get to all that. First, you gotta peel back the layers. Pac's in jail, right? So Suge trying to get Pac out. He came to visit him. He has an agreement that Suge would be the manager and David Kenner would be the lawyer. Once he gave them that agreement to all the things that they agreed into in principle, as far as what Death Row would get out of the deal, he took this back to Interscope and Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy and Suge crafted up what was an agreement, okay, based on all the things that he wanted from Tupac, and he signed it over with Suge. Jimmy came up with a whole new deal that did not include Death Row Records or Suge Knight. They took that paper back to Tupac Shakur to sign a real contract and a real deal, and it didn't have anything to do with Suge Knight and Death Row. It had everything to do with Interscope and Tupac Shakur. Hopefully you guys are following. So Tupac and Interscope made a deal that involved Atlantic Records. he basically signed over Out the Gutter Records that he recorded his albums on, his previous records, with Me Against the World and everything else. Signed that over. They put up $250,000 towards the bail. Jimmy Iovine and on Interscope put up the $300,000. And the rest was what they call levied against his royalties, which came out to the $850,000. So, why didn't Tupac get bailed out right away? Well, the first time he couldn't get out. And the reason he couldn't get out of jail is because when he tried to get out of jail before, they had denied him bail. The only reason he was able to get approved for bail was the fact that Jimmy Iovine and Interscope Records got involved and said, oh, he'll get bail and we can get him out. But he signed over power of attorney to Interscope Records. So they had a POA of Tupac Shakur's music and everything else. So once he agreed to those terms, that they had power of attorney over everything, Interscope Records was in control. They were the ones who dictated who goes what, and what happens. They cut royalty checks, not Death Row Records. So he was never signed to Death Row Records. He was only lent to them to be the launch and everything else, to be with Death Row. So they were paying Suge Knight basically to use the Death Row logo, the Death Row name, and the mystique of Death Row. Where Suge would get his money was the licensing of the name Death Row. Wear the Death Row chain, put flag Death Row, say Death Row, Death Row, Death Row. Don't say Interscope. Interscope is getting the lion's share of money, but they don't want to have anything to do with blasting their name. In case this thing goes wrong, this will be all on Death Row, not Interscope. But the contract is under Interscope Records, period. Now, here's the main problem with the scenario. Tupac wants out of Death Row. He wants away from this situation. Suge was his manager. He signed the deal to fire his long-term manager that he had all these years. So Suge has to be manager. So Suge is Tupac's manager. He don't own the record. He don't own Tupac under a contract like everybody else was signed with Death Row Records. And they got to get a release through Suge Knight. Tupac don't have to get a release from Suge because he was never signed with Suge Knight. But what he did was agree to do 3 albums under the imprint of having Death Row Records logo on the album. He had a 3-album guaranteed deal that was supposed to happen, where that Death Row logo would be on the album. Now, what Suge would do was make sure that other artists from Death Row was included on this record so that he would get the production credits and points. All that would go to Suge. But he's making sure his other artists are showcased on there. They getting their work, putting in that work, whatever. This is how Death Row do it. We gonna have a lot of death row people on it. Ain't gonna be no outside people. We're gonna keep it in there. We're gonna put Rage on there. We're gonna put this person on there. We're gonna put that person on there. We gotta have all our people on there. So they gotta eat. But Suge is getting the points. So he won't, it's more points for Death Row. He got more of these artists on there. So right away, Pac think, because of the way it's done and the way Suge is announcing it, yeah, I bailed Pac out. We came and got Pac out of jail. He orchestrated getting Tupac out of jail. He helped orchestrate getting Pac out. Not gonna say Suge didn't do anything. He helped orchestrate getting all of this together. But did he put up any money for it? No. And what he ended up getting was to be a manager of Tupac Shakur, as far as the deal. But what happened is something he didn't understand is that Tupac kind of beat him at his own game. Tupac, after he told him, all right, we at the end of the deal. I finished Machiavelli. I did 2-disc album, so that's 3 albums. And I'm out, but I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna go ahead. And he was like, why you can't do all that with the road? Why you want to lead a family? And go do your own thing, man. He was like, man, I just do my own thing, He was, man, see, that's what got you in trouble, man. You being outside the camp, that's what got you in trouble. Because you ain't had nobody out there helping you and to protect you. See, it's a lot of people out there gunning for you. And if the row ain't there, we be putting out fires you don't even see. A lot of people gunning for you. Some of it you don't even know about. But we make sure none of that stuff touch you. So, all I'm going to say is, when you go down that route, make sure you got your raincoat. So he was like, you could do all that with the road. You want to make movies? We got the production studio. That stuff costs money. So Pac is listening to all this. Then he gives out the list of accounts, all these bills that Pac owed. He was like, man, look, you got $3 million for your mama house. You got these cars. You got that car. You got this house. And you did that. It's a lot about the record business you don't understand. So you got all these expenses. And this is the first time Pac can't really say nothing because he thought Suge is buying all this for me. Suge gave me this watch. Suge gave me this jewelry. Suge did all this. Right? He thinking Suge then took care of everything on the board. Suge Knight did all that. I ain't got to do nothing. Suge got it. Anything go down? Talk to Suge. Suge got it. Death Row got all the money in the world. So that's what he was thinking. All the flash money, all of it. He was billed back to Pac. So he's paying for all of it. Most of that stuff ain't even his. He don't even got it. But he buying it. He paying for it. So his mama's house, he had to get his mom up out of there immediately. So he's like, I got to move my mom immediately. She got to get up out of there. So he moved his mom, his family out. They got her a house. Pac had a condo and he had a crib. He had a house and he had a condo. Luxury. Suge Knight's wife interiorly decorated it with all of the Beverly Hills. She did Snoop's house. She did all their houses. Got it furnished by this store in Beverly Hills. Nothing but priceless stuff that you could have in there for furniture. Got it all furnished. Everybody's house was done the same way. But those houses ended up not belonging to any of them. Neither was none of the cars. Now, when all of this situation started breaking down, yeah, Sharita had orchestrated all of that to get all of their stuff done. So when this was all said and done, the worst thing happened to Suge. Pac had did all his obligations, so he made things right by Pac because he wanted to keep Pac with the row. So he told Pac, look, you go on and work with Eric B. Eric B, y'all got Death Row East. Pac didn't want Death Row East. He was like, man, I don't want no Death Row, no Death Row East. I don't like, what do I look like on Death Row East? I don't even I'm screaming West Side. I'm screaming West Side over and over again. But I'm supposed to be on Death Row East. And he was like, nah, you gonna have your own thing. And what Pac did was say, all right, I know what I'm finna do. He wanted to do his own record label. He was like, you want me to stay down with the family? I need my own label. He was like, what? He was like, yeah, not for Tupac. For my alias, Machiavelli. He was like, Machiavelli the artist, and it's going to be on Machiavelli Records. So he was like, yeah, I'm not Tupac over there. I'm Machiavelli. So now I'm going to be making Machiavelli Records. And then we got under Death Row. He was like, oh, man. Now Suge is happy. Because now Suge get to sign Machiavelli and get his label and get his stature on Machiavelli Records. Now it's Machiavelli distributed by Death Row under Machiavelli Records with the Death Row emblem on it and everything. So Machiavelli, the album, is going to be on Machiavelli Records distributed by Death Row. So Pac was cool. Pac was cool and okay, but he wanted a list of his accounts. Pac want to know what he owed. I want a list of my accounts. Suge was like, all right, I'm going to get that for you. Just take a little time, but I'm going to get it for you. So now he never got it. David Kenner was his lawyer. Pac he got tired and kept asking for stuff and didn't get it. So he sent the letter in. He fired Reggie from security. He had fired Reggie quite a few times. And Suge was like, man, you work for me. You protect Reggie. I mean, you protect Pac, Reggie. I don't care about no facts. Pac needs security. But Pac was firing him and was going to hire the security guard to be his security. And Pac was going to hire him. Like, I'm going to hire you. And you going to work for me. You don't need to work with Right Way Security and work with Reggie. Pac never liked Reggie. And we all know why. Makes a whole bunch of sense. Yeah, he was going to hire Frank. Now, here's the thing about this whole thing that's laid out. Suge decides, okay, that's cool. Pac doing movies now. And he's finna stop making music for a while. He's going to do soundtracks. He did the Machiavelli. He did the One Nation album. He did the Outlaws, Still I Rise. He did enough music. He taking a break. He was like, all right, enough music is out. I got enough music recorded. I'm taking a break so I could focus on movies. So that was his whole thing, to focus on films. He had some scripts that was going to come his way. Jimmy Iovine's in love with this new Tupac. He loves the way he's dressing, more mature. He's like, I love this Tupac with the Versace, and you don't need the khaki pants and the blue jeans sagging, and that's bad for business. This Tupac I could sell. This is a mature Pac. This is the guy I could get the deals for. So Pac is already getting his brands together, and he's going into a realm where Jimmy is like, okay, I need to get you away from him. Jimmy's like, I don't need you with this guy. You're going to be up there doing songs with Bono. You're going to be doing songs with Madonna. You're going to be all over the place. You're going to go everywhere. Tupac Shakur is going to be the biggest thing in the world. You're going to be a global star. Girls love you. He's got this business he's trying to launch with Alanis Morissette. So Pac was already going into international territory. Fashion shows, all of it. Now, here comes the problem. Tupac fires David Kenner because he didn't get the information, right? So after he fires David Kenner, everything goes to hell. No, once Jimmy Iovine had his master plan, Quest Records was trying to work out this deal for this soundtrack of a movie they finna put out, and they want Tupac Shakur on it. And he was dating Kadada. Kadada brought it up that, because that deal was for LL Cool J. That was going to be LL's deal. But the issue of the situation that happened was Kadada and LL broke up. And she was like, you used me to get close to my father. Now you don't need me no more. Quincy was, I love LL. LL's great. So LL started doing the TV show. So he was out in California with Quincy Jones doing the TV show. So when Pac was wilding out on LL Cool J and talking like that, and they had that beef, and Quincy Jones was the only reason that didn't go to the next level and why nobody touched LL Cool J. So Suge, they was like, man, why Suge them didn't roll up on LL? Not rolling up on LL like that. And then it was like, nah, you can't do that. He's protected big time. That's way too much going on right now with Quincy. And Pac was like, nah, just leave it alone. We just don't talk. We just got to speak to each other. So it was like on those terms, like we ain't going to speak to him. The Outlaws don't like him, but Pac was like, nah, don't nobody say nothing to LL. Just let it go. Yeah, he put LL on. But he got that after he broke up with Kadada. But that was a whole nother thing. We'll get into that at a later time. But as you can see, there was supposed to be this $80 million movie deal for Tupac. It was no $80 million deal for Tupac. I don't know who came up with that number, but I've heard people say that. He had an $80 million deal with Quincy Jones. They wasn't paying rappers no $80 million back then. I was like, man, you wasn't getting no $80 million deal back then. That's crazy. Now, actors wasn't even getting that. Denzel Washington wasn't getting that kind of money. No black actors who ain't did no acting really in nothing but $100,000 movies. It's finna come in and get no $80 million deals. I mean, but it's crazy when I hear this stuff. I'm like, he was going to be in an $80 million movie as far as the budget. And it was more than that. And that was Star Wars. He was going to read for Mace Windu. But I was like, I couldn't see Tupac being Mace Windu. But yeah, he had a script from George Lucas to read for The Phantom Menace. You know, it's so much disinformation on the internet. You know how these people are. Tupac was finna build a bridge. Tupac was this. When he went to Cuba to visit his sister, he stayed there. And that was a stunt double. I've heard so much crazy Tupac stories. It's just, you wouldn't even believe it. If I told them all to you, you'll be shaking your head still. Now, no. Tupac was looked at as a low budget artist, even when he was doing, back then, rappers didn't get those type of figures for a performance or a show. Like MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice, those guys were getting those type of numbers. LL was doing good. But when Big started doing 30 G's a show, that was monumental. In 1997, when he signed that deal with Al Heyman, no rapper was doing that. They weren't getting paid 30 G's a show. That was no way. Now that's a walkthrough price. Like, I do a walkthrough and, come there, get my money, walk through, and that'll be that. That's how people got into problems. That's when the Migos came through, did what they did, and a lot of people thought, these are problems. Exactly. But the situation was different. Now, this leads up to the situation, right? Pac dies. We all know that Pac died. Didn't go to Cuba. He got shot. He was in the hospital. He lived for 7 days. And then he passed. What happened with the business after that was a monsoon of a nightmare. Suge Knight's trying to avoid going to jail. Because of that incident, Jimmy Iovine, Interscope is pissed. Tupac wasn't protected. They just lost a major asset to their corporate company and corporation. They got Dr. Dre putting out music, trying to come out with his label and get that going. They had Tupac, who was talking against it. Jimmy Iovine had to get involved in that. And he knew that was contingent of Suge Knight pushing the envelope to push Tupac against Dr. Dre, which is definitely working against him. And Jimmy didn't like it at all. Jimmy was pissed. And he was like, look, I know what you're doing, but you're messing with my money. These are my artists, not yours. Tupac, Dr. Dre, mine, Interscope, my artists. I'm allowing you to put your Death Row logo on there by allowing Tupac to be over there. But if I want, I will take Tupac off that label and he won't be with Death Row Records anymore. And that's when he was pissed. If he puts out another record against Dr. Dre, I don't want to hear that anymore. So they went to court and they got toss it up out of there. But the last thing Tupac did before he died was film, and the last thing he did in LA, he recorded the video, Toss It Up. That was the last video Tupac ever did. And he left for Vegas like right after that. Jimmy Iovine, of course he running things. Once Tupac died, after that Vegas trip, Suge Knight ass was in jail and was not getting out. They made sure he was found guilty. Jimmy Iovine made sure Suge Knight was found nothing but guilty. He had no any dreams of getting out of jail. You can forget that, buddy boy. You are going down. And that's exactly how he put it. They put Suge, he was like, Your Honor. They was like, you was on probation, you violated your probation. Your Honor, you saying I'm gonna go do 9 years in prison for a kick. Yep. Suge did everything he could. He swore he wouldn't let another rapper say anything about the Jews ever again. He was doing everything, did the turkey drive. He was doing all this. We always do stuff for the community. He was doing anything he could to keep from going to jail. They was like, nah, you're going to jail. So they put him in jail. So about time Machiavelli and all this stuff was coming out, the marketing team, everybody around, they didn't really have anything in place. They locked Suge Knight up, put him away, and said, that's that. We tired of you. So they locked him up. And while he was locked up, Machiavelli was coming out, and Afeni Shakur was putting in a junction to try to stop the Machiavelli album from coming out. But she couldn't. They had to just let the Machiavelli album come out. But because the thing, she put the junction in, it was going to take too long. They was like, no, we got to let it go through because this is how it's going to happen. He made that album with the Death Row agreement. It's got to come out under Death Row. And she was trying to get control of all of his assets and everything because in the will, without a will, it goes resort back to his mother. So Afeni was the one in charge. So she was going to be in control of Tupac's accounts and things. Now, how does Eminem come into this? Because I know a lot of people saw Eminem's name in the title and they said, well, damn, when we gonna get to Eminem? I had to go all the way back to the beginning because there's so many lies told on the damn internet. Every day there's a Tupac video. Everybody talking about 95, 96, every damn day. And they keep changing it. Every day somebody else then did something new. I'm like, damn, really? Now, instead of somebody driving by in the car, now they got people talking about somebody walked up to the car. Yeah, he walked up. I'm like, on the strip? He walked up on the car on the strip. Doom, doom, doom. And nobody can identify him. What kind of stupid shit am I listening to? I'll be like, man, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Now we got to walk by. All these years, it's like, who's the white Cadillac? Who's in the white car? Oh, everybody who's a witness saw the white car, the white car, the white car, the white coupe. Now all of a sudden it ain't a white coupe no more. No, it ain't a white coupe no more. It's a walk by. I'm like, man, Suge Knight now admits it's a walk by. I'm like, Suge Knight gonna admit Smurfs did it in a minute. He gonna say Papa Smurf in about 5 more minutes. He gonna accuse Papa Smurf for doing the damn hit. All I saw was blue. And I did see a white beard. And then I saw a blue hand. It came out the car. But it was a little glimpse. Wasn't a dark blue. It was a light blue. Man, kind of short. I don't know how he got his little hand out the window though. Yeah, it was crazy. So, I tried to turn the car a little bit, but I see he was aiming at me. Then he said something like Smurf. And then I was like, Smurf? Like I'm a Smurf you. Next thing you know, he let off some shots and Pac got hit. He was like, are you talking about Papa Smurf? It might be his name. I ain't never seen him before. Man, I swear, man, that's how crazy these dudes be doing, man. They be lying. Straight lying. They be straight lying. That's crazy. Yeah, they say anything just to be heard. Suge gonna do anything for anybody gonna cut him a check. That dude lied, said Snoop set something up. Whole nine. So anyway, Afeni Shakur is going through Tupac records. She's going through all Tupac music. Right? She had to get Tupac's approval for music. So she had to work out a deal with Interscope and Suge Knight. Right? So Suge and Afeni came to an agreement. Because Death Row was fighting and blocking all of this released material. But Suge is not in a position to really fight it. He's in jail. So right away, almost immediately, Tupac got a double CD coming out until the end of time. That was all his previous stuff he recorded outside of Death Row. And that was going to launch the Amaru record. Now, to get to the other records, they came to an agreement with the stuff he recorded with under Death Row and all of this, what they was going to get with Suge. So they came to an agreement with Amaru Records and what they was going to do. So once they was going to lose all these records, Death Row knew what they wanted to do. So while Sugar's in jail, all of a sudden, all Tupac music started being released on the streets on mixtapes. Everywhere. Machiavelli 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Machiavelli 6,000. They just leaking from everywhere. The new Machiavelli. Tupac was all over the streets. He had it all. They was like, you got that Machiavelli 7? They just kept putting out these Machiavellis, making millions on bootlegs. They was sabotaging it because they knew they were going to lose the records because Tupac ain't a Death Row artist. So they were going to lose it. That goes with Interscope. And Jimmy is back in that. So Jimmy went angrily, got all the audio, all the acapellas for Tupac. Now at this time, there's a guy named Shady. I'm some shady, yo. Eminem becomes the biggest thing in the world. So after all these years go by, right? Eminem got 3 albums out. Like 4 already now. He done did Encore, he got 8 Mile, he done did everything in the book. Eminem's a big artist. He got 50 Cent. They got Aftermath, is the biggest label going. Why in the hell did Jimmy Iovine turn around and says, hey, Eminem, I'm gonna give you Tupac Shakur's acapellas, and you put out this album. You do Tupac's album. What? He gave Tupac's albums to Eminem. How did Afeni Shakur and Eminem meet? Eminem drew a picture of Tupac, said he was a big fan of his music, his art, and he wanted to embody it and make it something great for her and everybody, and gave away Tupac's acapellas to Eminem. And Sean Puffy Combs signs a deal with Interscope Records when Bad Boy was losing money. So they signed a deal with Jimmy Iovine. So now Bad Boy and Eminem, all of them are on the same label. So now he's got Tupac. Now he's got access to Biggie's music. Oh, let's give that to Eminem. And again, I'm scratching my goddamn head. When has Eminem been known as a great producer? I can see if you gave it to Dr. Dre, somebody who's done engineering before, somebody who's actually made, I mean, you give this to Eminem? And I'm not sitting here finna question if Eminem's a fan of Tupac. That's not what this is about. He could have liked and respected it and really been genuine about it. 100%. He could have been like, hey, this ain't really me. You know? This wasn't my choice. This wasn't my decision. Not at all. He could have said, hey, look. This is the way I want to do it. Now, let's get to the narratives. Because, see, we're not getting to the narratives quick enough. And everybody is getting, like, put into a different, they put it under a different umbrella. Oh, we ain't even got around to that movie. Now, let's go through the Eminem situation. Eminem gets the album. He makes this album for the new Tupac release called Loyal to the Game, Tupac. And my God, it's the worst Tupac album I ever heard in my life. I swear to God, it's like, how do you listen to Tupac songs and you say you're a great fan of Tupac and you don't know how his vocals sound? You didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know how to use his vocals at all. So I'm like, if you a fan, what part of a fan, what was you listening to? Because how could you think this was okay with Pac? Every Tupac fan will tell you about Loyal to the Game. And they'd be like, oh my goodness. It was such an, Eminem felt so bad, like I felt real bad. I felt one of the best artists out of my fans. I felt like the fans were disappointed and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? What you do, you messed with Tupac. That's what you did. You mess with something you don't know anything about. That's what you did. The stuff Eminem like and rap to is not something Tupac gonna rap to. This is why I'm like, why would you give this to Eminem? Why would you give Biggie and Tupac songs to Eminem? Because see, this was a whole plan contrived to make well, not Tupac, but Eminem bigger than what he was. And the overall stamp of things, what is the optics of these black brothers who lost their lives and not here to reap the benefits of their rewards, having a white man in charge, a white rapper that ain't connected to nothing they doing? They get his music. He comes around and gets Biggie and Tupac's music. What do those optics look like? Those look like colonizer optics. And I was a fan of Eminem's music. But your music is good for what you do. Pac, his music ain't like that. Biggie music ain't like what you do. Don't bring what you do to what they do. And that's why it sounded crazy. Now, here's the narratives. If you go back and look at Loyal to the Game, the album that Eminem did, you're going to notice something very interesting about it. This was, let's try to launch my label and launch my artist. Obi Trice and Tupac should never be on a goddamn record a day in life. And Tupac had a friend named Trice, so they really worked that in like, oh, man, it's like he's talking to Obi Trice. We're going to have a back and forth with you and Pac. He had a homeboy named Trice. Yo, to my homeboy Trice. Oh, that's me. Then I come in and like he's talking to me. Tupac don't know no goddamn Obi Trice. All he was doing was pushing his artists and putting himself on songs with Tupac. He don't even fit the record. All because his shit wasn't selling no more. Eminem, his stock had went down. He wasn't selling records like that no more. So now you using Tupac as the gas. You finna screw up his album. And I'm like, his voice sound all crazy, and people that know Pac was telling Afeni Shakur, like, your son would never want his music out like this. Never want his sound sounding like this. There's a petition going for people saying they need to redo Loyal to the Game. Don't believe me, there is a petition of Tupac fans saying this album needs to be redone with a whole new people and get all these G Unit and Eminem shady record people off the record. Dog, Tupac rapping with D12. That's just like, what the hell are you doing? I would have gave Tupac beats to people that actually know Tupac, who've actually worked with him, rap with him. I'd be like, I'm giving Pac beats to people that know Pac, that rock with Pac. Period. That is it. Cut and dried. You can listen to Pac vocals. He like his vocals doubled. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, you gotta know Tupac. You gotta know what some people, talk to some people that actually worked with him and get his music right. Don't have him out here sounding all crazy. Yeah, do you know why it took so long? Because of that Loyal to the Game crap. That Eminem garbage. Man, if I seen Jimmy Iovine, I'd be, you short ball fuck, don't you ever send Tupac music to anybody that has never worked with Tupac before and don't know what Tupac vocals should sound like. I'll get you some producers in here that knows exactly how to do it. Now you get these vocals away from these clowns that don't know what's going on. We rolling this back to 96. We going back to the 96 sounds. We getting them drums back in here. We getting it the way Pac was rocking to it. Right, Quick can engineer it. Right, Quick can engineer it, but here's the thing though, the majority of them can. They can't move it like that. They don't even know how, B. And no Swiss beats. Man, if I hear Sweet Speak go, Death Row. When I'm riding, I'll be, oh no. No. This ain't gonna work. Yeah, some of those songs, Shock would have made it work. Like, let Shock do 2 songs if he was still living, but Shock had fell out with Pac before Pac died. He was mad that Pac didn't do something for him. And he was like, see, that interview got pulled. He was like, there's no more love for Pac. And it was like, no more love for Pac. And he was like, yeah, man, there's no more love for Pac, man. I was like, whoa. Then when Pac died, he was the Tupac whisperer. He was doing every interview. I was like, I remember you saying that in the interview, homie. Ain't no more love for Pac, man. You know what I'm saying? He used to be down, but he ain't down no more. I was like, I remember you saying that. Somebody else said, I remember that interview. Right. Now you can't find it no more. These dudes be phony. Then when he died, he was, you know, Pac was so introspective, and he started doing all these Tupac stories. And Pac said it was gonna be like that when he died. He said it's gonna be these dudes be like, he knew me and all this. I remember I interviewed him once, and he was like, and these people did not like you when you was alive. You got Whack 100, who ain't never met Tupac a day in his goddamn life. He was locked up in jail. He come out and he got all the Tupac. I remember Suge sent 50 goons over to Jimmy I. Veen's. He sent 50 goons. Where were you at? San Quentin? You were not a part of Death Row. Pac was gone. I had never seen Whack around. Not when Suge was around. Hell, I was around Suge more than him, and I wasn't even around Suge. Suge would be somewhere I was going. And I'm in Vegas. And I'm like, hey, I'm in Vegas. I'm running into Suge everywhere. Because I was with Floyd. Ran into Cat Williams and Suge. I was in LA. But I'm like, I didn't ran into these dudes way more than I ran into them. I didn't see Whack nowhere. I saw Whack giving me his number. Yeah, I'm a manager, and you look like, he thought I was a damn rapper. Yeah, you look like you know, you can spit a little bit. You know, I could tell, because I'm a manager. I'm like, yeah, here's my number. Then I called the fool years later. I ain't never called this dude number. I ain't had no reason to. He was managing Ray J, when really he was just a bodyguard at the time. And then when he fell out with Floyd, Ray J really went and and glued himself to Whack. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, me and him already talked before we even did an interview. It ain't like I called him, he's like, yo, who is this? He knew exactly who he was talking to. I'm like, dude, we chat before we even went, you know, I put you up there for the interview. Whack was never around. This is why I keep telling people. I was like, dog, Wack was never around, B. He never was. He was around in an era when Suge was broke. Like, Suge was going broke. He was trying to stay relevant in the game and doing stuff and rolling around with Latinos and everybody else. Suge didn't have that power no more. That was a whole different time. He was losing that grip. He came home to a lot of money, and if Suge would have just said, well, not said, but actually did what he should have done, which was stay true to the essence of what he was doing and just build a record label up, he'd have been straight. But he kept trying to go at it with Dre and Eminem, messing with Jimmy's money, trying to start a war with Snoop and all these people. And I'm like, dog, all these people you battling it now is in Cali. Master P is in California. And all these people got power. You knew the money was low when he started riding with the Latino Bloods. I was like, where the hell you find them, Suge? Man, that Tupac death came with a lot of stuff at price. But for Eminem to get access to that music, that's Jimmy Iovine trying to keep Eminem afloat. Proof was dead. He was in a funk. He didn't know what to do. His album basically tanked for an Eminem album, and they didn't know what to do with Eminem. People had grown tired of Eminem. So they was like, what we gonna do? Oh, put him with Tupac. Let him do a Tupac album. Then you can launch your artist on the Tupac album. Now these people eating off Tupac. Obi Trice, D12. I'm like, man, this some bull in here. If you gonna get anybody, he gonna put Idi Amin on the album. He gonna let some of the Outlaws eat because they was on the track. So he let only Idi and Castro, they cut Gaddafi off of the album. It's crazy, man. It was really crazy. Loyal to the game is that's a one big statement, because that was the last thing these dudes were, was loyal to the game. No, I had my 40-inch gold chain. I didn't have my Wu-Tang medallion. I just had my 40-inch gold link on. And I was just standing there. I forgot I think I had on a jogging suit or something. I was sitting there at Floyd's crib. I don't even think we were at Floyd's crib. I think we was just at a spot. And Wack was there, and he was there because Ray J brought him to the spot. And Jackie Long was over there, and I was talking with Jackie and then Ray J and all them, and they was talking about the dude and this and all this stuff he got coming up. And Ray J was talking about, oh yeah, man, I'm finna drop this album, man. Then I got this clothing line, man, me and Wack working on. It's like this headbands, we got them in different colors, and it was some low budget crap, like, yeah, he was always, if you talk to Ray J was always on. But like me, him, and Jackie Long and Linnell Bellows, like, we were all hanging around each other. Badu Jack, we was all in that group. Then 50 came, and that's when it was different. Because 50 would just show up, and then that's that. Then Wack would disappear. When 50 showed up, Wack was gone. Now, that is a good question. When 50 showed up around Floyd and Ray J was there, where was you at, Wack? Why you disappeared? It's like you have, I just thought about that. You just vanished. Your ass is like, you vanished. Ray J was there by himself. You weren't nowhere around Fifth. Now, we could bring that up right now. Because when Fab got at Ray J was there by himself. You was not there. And that red hoodie was pulled over his head. And them dudes was about to do him dirty. And 50 didn't say, no, man, not him. Don't do him like, no. And this Ray J, he messed up. Like, let's see what's going on with him. He might going off some drugs. And he was dehydrated like him. The money king, man. The money king. Playing with us, boy. It's the money king. They're like, what the hell wrong with you? That dude was like Little Nas X walking down the damn street. You know where the party's at. Nah. He was going off that. The money king, man. The money king. The money king. The money king. It's like, dude, what the hell did you own? Who gave Ray J something? Like, somebody gave this boy something. He going off that mojo, boy. Get Ray J a glass of milk. That fool was out there gone, boy. The money king, the money king, the money king. It's the money king, the money king, the money king. The money king. Why would anybody hate Big? You feel me? Why would anybody hate Big? That's the part that gets me the most. Why would anybody hate Big? Damn cops. They out here deep tonight. Why would anybody hate on Big? That's the problem that I don't understand. It just don't compute with me. Why would anybody hate on Big? Completely. Big had nothing to do with that man getting shot. It's 25 years later now, and everybody know Biggie had nothing to do with it. Big didn't set him up. Big didn't have nothing to do with any of it. And everybody know that now. Whack. How could that ever be whack? Biggie Smalls whack. Oh my God. Now, you know, anybody say something like that don't know anything about rap. Now, come on now. Whenever nobody in the history of this game has had rappers most scared to rap, and I mean superstars, they were like, I'm not following that fat mother. No way. I'm not following that. I'm no way. I'm gonna have to sit down. LL knew I'm not finna get burnt on the track. No way. I'm not getting on that track. L was gonna get on Who Shot You. He was getting on the Who Shot You joint. Keith Murray and Biggie Smalls was doing Who Shot You. LL said, I'm going home, baby. No, homie, yeah, no, he on fire. Yeah, he on fire right now. No, I ain't getting on that. No.
I think not. No, homies. Right now, he's in a zone right now. So, I'm just trying to get myself back going again. I ain't really been rapping. I've been mostly acting and doing TV shows. So, if I'm getting back in the groove, yeah, I can't just jump in there with these dudes. They hungry. You know what I'm saying? This dude is hungry. He been in the gym, sharpening his pen. I gotta get myself back sharp. So LL wasn't getting on that track. He went to the crib. LL heard him spit and went to the crib. He wasn't getting on that record. There's plenty of dudes got off records. Nas said, ain't no way I'm getting on Give Me the Loot. And I'm hearing this dude spit like this. Hell no. Because they know what? One time he gets burned, he already done had the AZ thing happen to him. AZ burnt you on that Life's a Bitch song. He not finna have that happen to him. Biggie Biggie crushing on, man. You heard Big? Oh, Big, telling you, Big was embarrassing people. It was embarrassing what he does. His rap flow is and was potent. Potent. Way more potent than Pac's. Like if they was talking about aggression, like no. They're two different type of rappers. Pac is, I keep trying to tell people, Pac has more variation to what he does. He can make a introspective song. He got more range than Big. But Big in that zone, if Big was to go on Pac like that, oh, that would have been ugly. I mean, ugly. That's how it would have got. It would have got ugly. Oh, 100% around the globe, man. Ugly. They get dirty like some cleats. I'm like, man, Big was on that thing, boy. Y'all, I don't know what y'all talking about. Whoever that talking that in that chat, boy, you didn't know bigger. Biggie was shook. Shook of what? Did you hear Long Kiss Goodnight? Did you hear Dangerous MCs? Are you kidding? If they just let Big go and Big just said, hey, F it, I'm just gonna go, this thing would have been wrapped up. Actor needs chiropractor for a cracked jaw. Shoot, are you crazy? This dude was spitting. Slugs missed you. We ain't mad at you. We ain't mad at you. Blood rushes, concussions ain't nothing. Catch cases come out front and smoking something. Slipping white Russian, be in the bins bumping. I lace it with the basic 6 TVs, a system. Knocking face shit, face it. We hard to hit, cuz. Before I stick you for the re-up. Wipe the pee up. 6 shots, woke your seat up. Go in the ashtray, spark the weed up. Long kiss. Oh, wait. It took my cousin 7 years after Pac was gone and Big was gone. 7, 8 years later, he just not finding out about that verse. He was like, dog. He's like, I ain't know. He was like, well, what you didn't know? He's like, man, I didn't know he was talking about Pac getting shot in the nuts. He was like, dog, I was like, it took you 7 years to figure this out. I could have solved that for you in day 2 of listening. When he said, lick 6 shots woke your seed up.
I was like, oh my God. He was talking about Pac getting shot in the nuts. I was like, you didn't know that? He was like, I didn't. He's like, and I heard it. I repeat the rhyme and didn't catch it. Lick 6 shots, woke your seed up. I was like, oh my God. Lick 6 shots, woke your seed up. Go in the ashtray, spark the weed up. That's exactly what happened. Pac went in there and smoked the weed. He got shot in New York, went upstairs, went in there, tried to tell you he went lit up a blunt. He lit up the blunt, grabbed the blunt, and got in the ashtray, smoked the blunt. Can't believe this. They tried to kill me, man. Yeah, I know. That's what had me going. No, he talked about he talked about hit him up, man. He dropped a lot of jewels on that. Like when he talked about hit him up, you cursed it but rehearsed it. I drop unexpectedly like birds. He talking about hit him up. You did about 3 versions of hit him up. Yeah, you cursed it but rehearsed it. Y'all don't be picking up on none of this stuff Big was saying, man. Big was dropping gems like bit by bit by bit. I'm flaming gas. I'm aiming at these maniacs. Put my name in raps. What part of the game is that? Like they hustle backwoods. I smoke backwoods in Dutchies. You can't touch me. Try to rush me, slugs go touchy touchy. You bleeding lovely. With your spirit above me or beneath me. Your whole life you live sneaky. Man, that's just dark. I'm like, damn, this is dark. That's what I'm telling you, dog. Big was a problem. I don't know what you talking about, dude, in the chat. Dude in the chat, are you talking about the same individual? Right, why would you even try to hate on Bigger? Shoot, Bigger was this still today. Nobody touching him. We talking about Big 30 years later. I'm like, shoot, Big was a monster. Shoot, that was a monster. The Brooklyn Loch Ness. 9mm contest, and the winner is not that skinny kid with bandanas and tattoos. My fists never bruise. Ask who the best. Watch them say Papa Very. Your jury get passed around like conversation. Now all of a sudden, now everybody's Big Willie. Done did it. Come with it and get your head split it. Or get your throat slit it. Admit it. You overdid it. Your shit just ain't got that loud. Go to shine like Tadao. Biggie Smalls the illest and how. French braid your eyebrow. By now you figure he talking about that. But your weak ass assumptions led to bumping, IV to pumping. You're feeling something. Catch my drift or catch my 4/5 lift. About 6 pinches above project fences. Oh my God. Dog. This is what I'm talking about. When that man said at least 6 pinches, he could have said 6 inches. He said, no, I'm going to say 6 pinches above project fences. Oh my God. That's how you know a superior MC.
They not finna use the same word everybody else is using. That's how hip-hop used to be. That man said 6 pitches above project fences. Oh my God. Yo, jumps turned to flinches. Oh my God. Man. Your talk is senseless. Missed you by inches. Act on these chiropractors with crack jaw. Yes, I wrecked your cheddar box. Dangerous or not, I get down. Who will win between Biggie and Nas? Big. Big. Nas would never battle Big. He don't care what the situation was. He don't care what Big said. He was never, ever gonna battle Big. He threw little shots on his album. There's one life, one love, so there can only be one king. I'm like, on the message. Yeah, he was trying to throw shots like, yo, I'm standing down with my boy. And boy, Big let him know on Kick in the Door. You better sit your ass down, Nas. You better sit your ass down. That Kick in the Door was for real. Shoot, Nas told you. Y'all don't know about my Biggie wars. Who you thought Kicking the Door was for. But that's my heart. Nas told you himself. Y'all didn't know about these Biggie wars. Who you thought Kicking the Door was for. Big let all of them know he got Raekwon, Ghost, Nas, Pac, everybody on Kicking the Door. He wasn't playing no game. This goes out for those that choose to use disrespectful views on the King of NY. Why try? Throw bleach in your eye. Now you're brailing it. Slice that light stuff from scaling it. Conscious of your nonsense since 88. Sold more powder than Johnson & Johnson. Toad still like Bronson. Vigilante. You want to get on, son? You need to ask me. Ain't no other kings in this rap thing. They siblings. Nothing but my cheering. One shot, they disappearing. It's ill with them. Seeds used to be on gritty shit. Took home, ready to die. Listen, study shit. Now they on some money shit. Successful out the blue. They lightweight. Frank Chili. My 9 milli make the white shake. That's why my money never funny. You still recouping. Stupid. Woo-wee. Damn, that's a verse. That's a line and a half. That's a line and a half. That's a line and a half. Right. They went from, he was talking about it. Y'all went from Staten Island broke, talking about the grimy, yo, you got swords and stuff. Y'all in the slums of Shaolin, and now y'all out here with gold cups with big link chains on. Talking about you got on robes with big medallions. And now y'all on some pretty tone. Now y'all on some money. Successful out the blue. Y'all took home, ready to die. Listen, studied it. Now you on some money. Successful out the blue. Hey, I'm telling you, Big was a problem for these dudes. They didn't want it with Biggie. I'm telling you, they didn't. Not Ray, not Ghost, not no. This is what he do. Like, for real. You can't battle that dude on that mic. Tupac wanted it. No, Tupac wanted to make money off of it, and Tupac just got fame, and he's just impactful. And so when he say something, it's not really, like, that's what I'm saying. His hit 'em up verse wasn't really nothing I pay attention to. The Outlaws had the best disses to me. You know, Fatal and Gaddafi, they were the ones really bringing it. You know, like he was, like Pac just said, he just had the most impactful stuff. You know, it was witty. You know, it was rhymed and all that. You know, they worked with it a while, but it was just the abrasiveness of it from Pac. And then him going off at the end, because it really, he only had one verse. And then he heard everybody getting off. He was like, look, he came in with a whole nother verse. Pac wrote another verse and jumped in. He wasn't even gonna rap no more, because that's how the song went. I ain't even gonna supposed to be rapping on this. I'm gonna let my little homeboys did it. And then they did that. But when he listened to them getting off, Pac like, I gotta get another verse in here. So yeah, Pac came in right after Fatal, because they was riding that track. Just like they did Main Niggas. It was the Outlaws again. The Outlaws was bringing it. They was riding, going the next one in, and the other one come right in. Boom. Boom. Another hit. Boom. They come in 3 blows in a row. So Pac had to jump in there. Like, I got to get in there, because y'all riding. This track going to be a monster. I got to get in here with another verse. And that's how they got the second verse to the Hit 'Em Up. Because the original Hit 'Em Up just had one verse. And I told you, I never forget when I heard it. I was on a date. It was a Friday. I know the entire day. Mission Impossible, the very first Mission Impossible came out with Tom Cruise. That came out that day. That was 1996. First Mission Impossible come out. That Friday night, we sitting in the car. I went and picked up the girl. We went to go see the movie. Had the movie didn't start, and it was because she got off work late. So we was late going there. Dead Presidents had just came out on video. I picked up Dead Presidents. So I got Dead Presidents on video, just came out, because we couldn't go see Mission Impossible. It was closed. She missed the last show. She made us miss it. So I'm like, look, we can just go back to my crib. I go grab Dead Presidents. It just came out on video. So went up to video store, got Dead Presidents. Dead Prez just came out on video. Grabbed that, got back in the car, and WKKC, which is the Kennedy King College here in Chicago, play the record. And they play all hip hop all night. And they got authority. They could play profanity once they get late at night. So they could just play the whole record through, and nobody could say nothing. So right when I'm talking to her, we chilling, we grabbing some food, whatever, we finna go chill back at the crib. You know, I'm vabbing, Mac Daddy, talking. Next thing you know, the guy from WKKC come on and was like, man, we got this new record, man, by Tupac. And I'm like, why does he sound so depressed? I'm like, why does this dude sound like he was depressed? That's how much Biggie had control over everything, dog. I knew people that just hated Tupac because of this record. Because they was so Biggie'd out and Bad Boy and Dance and Party. So that was up their alley. When they heard Tupac thing, they was, this Tupac, he's a hater. Back then, it was called player hater. He's a player hater. So once it hit, boom. And this before it's even released anywhere. All I hear is, I'm driving, and they said, we got this new record by Tupac. It's called, they said the name, and I didn't really hear because he talking so low, like he had a funeral. Then they play it, it's like, I ain't got no motherfucking friends. That's why I F'd your B, you fat mother. West Side, Bad Boy Killers. I said, she's like, what? What are they playing? What is he saying? This is a crazy song. First don't funk you bitch, then the click you came. West Side, we ride, come equipped with game. I said, I got to pull this car over immediately. This date is officially over now. My whole, everything gone. It's all gone now. It's all messed up. This date is over. She don't exist no more. I gotta find my cousin. That's what my whole thing is. Where's my cousin? I'm trying to find him. She's, my God, what is he saying? I'm like, I hear what he's saying. I gotta find my cousin. ASAP. You need to be getting out of here. I gotta get rid of you. I gotta get my cousin here who knows know what time this is. It is lit. This is it. It is up right now. I knew it was up when I heard the song didn't even finish. When that first verse came and the way he cadenced it, even being profane, he was still lyrical. That's the thing that made it funny. He was lyrical. He was doing lyrical stuff while being profane. First off, F your clique and the chick you claim and the clique you claim. First off, F your chick and the clique you claim. West side when I ride, come equipped with game. He is doing double entendres and triple entendres in the opening bars. If you ever stop to break that down, in the clique you claim, West side when we ride, come equipped with game. That shows you he thought about it. They rehearsed this. That was so witty. The way he did it, it made it bounce. So it sounded like he just coming off the dome raging, but he thought of it. That's how precision like it was. That verse. It was effective. Up your bitch in the clique you claim, West side when we ride, come equipped with game. I said, oh, that's cool. Yep. I said, wait a minute. I told you, I can remember that whole day because of that record. The impact that song had was huge. Because I'm not the only one that listens to WK. Everybody does. So when that song was played, this girl was definitely finna become a memory. She became a pain in my ass ever since then. I was like, you ain't coming back around me. And I waited a whole school semester to get this chick. I was like, you know what? Get out of here. You go. I can't even deal with you right now. You are not in the moment. I couldn't wait to get her home. I'm like, all right, we dropped her off. I ran into my cousin. Like, dude, we got to go to WKKC right now. Me and you are going to WKKC right now. I'm on the phone with them now. What is the name of that song? It's Tupac's song, man. It's called Hit 'Em Up. Hit 'Em Up is the name of that record? Yeah. Yeah, man. You got a copy? I'm on my way there. I need that song right now. I was like, he was all sad, man, dude. I've never heard nobody sadder to play a record. You would have thought it was affecting him. He was, yeah, it's called Hit 'Em Up. Hit 'Em Up. Yeah. Do you have that record there to record right now? Yeah, I'm on my way there. I'm coming there. I need that record tonight. I'm not going to sleep till I have that record. Hey, I had that record ASAP. I went to WKKC, got that copy of that record, and the whole hood was gone crazy. Like, dog. First, it was like, who's he talking about? He talking about Big. He was like, Bad Boy Killer. Dog, he talking about Biggie now. Oh man. So he said, man, he slept with Faith. Oh damn. Then the magazine came out like shortly after that. The magazine with Tupac and Faith on there, and it was, oh wow. So everybody in the whole world was like, man, he slept with Faith, man. Damn. Pot cold. And man, that they was all Tupac'd out after that. Everybody thought they was Pac. My boy thought he was Pac. I showed you pictures of him. He still think he Pac. That was his guy. When Pac died, he couldn't take it. Yeah, so that increased and intensified, and as you can see right now, New York is still people that hate Tupac guts because of Hit 'Em Up. And that's just New York, period. It was the rant at the end of the song that got them. They didn't care nothing about the record. Once they start hearing stuff like, my fofo make sure all y'all kids don't vote. Once they start doing that and seeing that, that's when it got crazy. Any nigga that from New York that want to bring it, bring it. But we ain't sing it, we bring it drama. F you and your MF and mama. We gonna kill all you mother. Once he said that, it was up. Everybody in New York couldn't stand him. It was people that didn't like Biggie. They was like, man, I don't like Biggie, but dog, he trying to say he F New York. All right. like, dude, they was not happy, and it was up. Like, he didn't know how bad it was, and once he calmed down, he realized this is a bigger problem than he's ever imagined. Like, it was crazy. Dog, that's, man, that was like some real playing with fire. Dog, the mood was gone. Dog, it wasn't about that no more. You passed up some cheeks for a Tupac song? Dog, this one, imagine you first hitting him up. This is monumental. I got to get this record. That's my concern now. This record has to be in my possession. See, there was no internet. You got to understand, there's no internet. None of this stuff exists at this time. This is physical. You got to be there. You got to have that record. Whoever has that record has the power. Trust me. If you had that record, you had the power. And that was me. I was the guy that always had the record. I had Snoop album before anybody had Doggy Style. I had it. I was the guy. So if they knew anything new was coming out in hip hop, the person that was going to have it was me. Period. I had to have that record. So it didn't even matter, dog. Chicks at that time, dog, come on. For me, it was very easy. So getting this chick, she was just had to wait on the list. I had 3 chicks at the school. I'm like, I got Kim, I got her, I'm like, man, I'm set to go. I only messed with her because she was Kim, and I kept calling her Little Kim. I'm like, hey, Little Kim, Big Mama, and she was just liking it. Well, she had a body out this world, boy. Good Lord. And once I got my car, it was up. I was like, okay, I got my whip. So now it's hit Kim, hit this chick, and hit the girl in the business class. The business class girl was something because everybody put her on a pedestal. And I'm like, this chick don't even drive. It's like she don't even have a car. Y'all putting this chick on a pedestal? She riding with me. I'm taking her home. She getting my numbers. She like, yeah, we need to go out. You know, I was wondering when you was going to speak to me. You know, you kind of spoke to a couple people, but you never looked my way. I was like, I thought you was dating that other guy over there, so I ain't want him true. Nah, I don't even know him. No. You know how the chicks be, man. They just shoot them down. Shoot. Yeah, exactly. They don't understand what I'm talking about. They into this digital era. They're like, dude, what's that? You can just download it. Get it offline. Like, you ain't gotta blow up a date. I'm like, shoot, I had to blow that up. I had to physically have that copy in my hand. That's do you understand the importance of having that record? Dude, I seen that record played at parties. I've seen that record do things that I hadn't seen done before. I've seen when they play Hit 'em Up for the first time at the party. I've seen what I've seen the effects of the shift. Everything was Bad Boy back then. Even when Pac was out, they was playing Bad Boy kind of was chilling, but they was playing SWV and Biggie on the remix, and they was controlling everything at the time. They still had the radio. So yeah, and that's what they was like, we just gonna focus on hits. So when the first thing you really heard from Biggie was the Get Money song. Then they did a remix. And they had the beat that was basically what they ended up using for Hit 'em Up. And they was playing the remix on the radio. And then the original version had the video for it. You want to sip more on my living room floor, play Nintendo with Caesar Leo. So they were back rolling. And they was like, nah, we can't let Biggie and them come back. We got to crush it. That's what Pac was thinking. Like, it's time. Now it's time to drop it. Now it's time to drop it and go after them. Then after that, that's when the radio shifted. And it was, you ain't hear like too much of Biggie stuff no more. It was just Pac stuff. It was How Do You Want It was on the radio. And that was like out. And then late at night, you'll hear Hit 'em Up. Go to New York. It's crazy. Dude, if you heard Hit 'em Up, somebody might get beat up. I swear to God. That's how crazy they was over that record, dog. They was, you'd have thought somebody was insulting the entire New York City. They hated that record. Outlaws got in a lot of trouble because, let me tell you, they got in trouble because they was messing with the wrong people. And it was nuts. I told you, it was crazy. So they from Jersey, they from the streets. So yeah, so by the time when Pac died and they had to come back home, they still had to answer for all this. They had to atone. So things got hot fast. But anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'll let y'all later. It's been cool. I'm gonna holler at y'all.